Okay, so let's try these ones out. Sketch the following and shade the wanted region. So for the first one, this is an equation. We have an equal sign, as you can see. So this one is telling you that y is equal to 2. You don't have any x here, so you don't need to make any box. In other words, it's a constant function or a constant equation. Y is always equal to x. So to sketch this one, go to the y-axis and then find 2 on the y-axis, and then where you have a 2, you can draw a line like this. So every time you have an equation, you don't have to shade anything. You don't need to make your line broken. It has to be a solid line, and make sure that you name it whatever equation you have been given. So in this case, the name is y is equal to 2. This is it for this one. And then y is greater than or equal to 3. So in this case, we are still dealing with the y-axis. As you can see, there is no x there. So you draw a line where y is equal to 3. And because we have an equal sign there, the line will be a solid line to show that even 3 is part of that solution set. I'll explain on that later. And make sure you are using a pencil. So we make the line solid because when listing down the elements of this set, you notice that you always start with a 3 because 3 is part of the numbers or the solution set. So that's 3, 4, 5, and so on like that. But in a case where you have y is greater than 3, you'd start with a 4 because you want real numbers, or maybe integers, or can I say natural numbers greater than 3. In fact, integers, since we are dealing with integers here. 5, 6, and so on like that. So now after you draw this line, because we want all the numbers which are greater than 3, you have to shade on the side where you have numbers which are greater than 3. So in short, in English, you would read this as list down all the numbers, or maybe write down all the numbers all the y values which are greater than 3. So this is the y-axis, and the numbers which are greater than 3 are greater than or equal to 3 are 3, 4, 5, and all the numbers upstairs, if I may call them that. So you can shade like this because this is where we have all the numbers greater than or equal to 3, like this, and you are done. You don't need to make any funny shadings. I'm always emphasizing on this. Please avoid doing this. It's dirty in mathematics, and avoid doing this. It's not required. You just need some simple lines like that. So now you can name this one y is greater than or equal to 3. Let me just write it here. Y is greater than or equal to 3. So now let's move on to the x-axis. The first one here is x is less than -2. So in this case, we don't have any y values. We only have an x value, which is a -2. So, oh sorry, I thought you were able to see. Yeah, so you can check your x-axis. Remember, this is your x-axis. In case you are doubting, you can always check. These things are always provided for you guys at this level. So x is less than negative 2 is here. So you can draw a line here, but is the line a solid line or a broken line? Yes, as you may have guessed, because we don't have an equal sign here, that line will be a broken line. By the way, you don't expect all these questions in one assessment. You can only have one or two maybe at most, but I've only seen one in most cases. Yeah, I've decided to use the same graph paper because I don't want to waste a lot of time drawing, and so this line will be a broken line, as you can see. And the reason is very simple. You don't want 2 to be part of this solution, because we want all the numbers, the x numbers, which are less than 2. So these numbers are negative 3. Remember how the negative numbers work? So you have negative 3, negative 4, and so on. So these numbers this side are greater than negative 2. And then the numbers this side are less than negative 2. So now, because this is not just an equal sign, you have to shade on the side where you have numbers less than negative 2. And this is how you do it. You can ignore this part. So make sure that after you do that, you name your graph y is less than negative 2, like this. And then lastly, we have x is greater than 1. So x is greater than 1 is here. Okay, so the last one is x is greater than 1, like this. So in this case, remember we are dealing with the x-axis, where x is equal to 1. And because we have an equal sign, the line will be solid. So we can draw a solid line passing through 1, like this. Make sure that the line is straight. So now the next thing you do is you shade all the numbers. You shade all the numbers which are greater than 1 on the x-axis. So in this case, the numbers which are greater than 1 are all this side, right? All these numbers this side are less than 1. So by the way, it's less than or equal to, which explains why we have a solid line here. So I'm going to shade on the side where all the numbers are greater than 1, like this. Okay.